Seventh ex-eBay worker sentenced for unspeakable campaign of harassment involving a fetal pig and live bugs. The seventh ex-eBay worker has been sentenced for an unspeakable campaign of harassment involving a fetal pig. Quite clearly a cultural problem then, over at eBay. It says, the former senior manager of special operations for eBay Inc.'s global security team was sentenced Thursday in federal court in Boston for his role in cyber stalking. It included a preserved fetal pig, a bloody Halloween mask, and a book on surviving the loss of a spouse. In October 2020, Gilbert pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit cyberstalking and conspiracy to tamper with witnesses. Like, it is a bit mafia, right? And there's 7 of them in eBay. It's not just some internet weirdo that's like, I'll show him. Like, it's an office of people in eBay. And it says they targeted David and Ina Steiner. David and Ina Steiner produced an online newsletter called E-Commerce Bites that upset eBay executives with his coverage. Right, okay, so let's just regroup. Let's just try to make sense of this for a second. So here's this couple. And they write about e-commerce. They write about eBay specifically. And the eBay executives apparently seemingly don't like what they're writing about them, and so they start this weird mafia-like harassment campaign. It says Gilbert is one of 7 now former eBay employees and contractors on the company's security team who were charged and ultimately convicted for their roles in their cyber stalking campaign. Okay, so former. Gilbert is one of 7 former eBay employees. So they're not working at eBay anymore, guys. You'll be relieved to hear. Not working at eBay anymore. The Metropolitan Police, maybe you could, you know, when one door closes, right? It's a gig economy, guys, and these are transferable skills. I mean, you know, if you did see them apply for a job at the Metropolitan Police, all I'm going to say is this, is just hold your judgment, all right? Just stop trying to cancel this poor man. It's not like he stamped on anyone's head, is it? If anything, he was promoting their service, is what he was doing, right? He probably bought the items on eBay and had them couriered to the newsletter couple. He was promoting their service. And look, it worked, because now here we are talking about it. About eBay. I mean, are you thinking about all of the things you could buy on eBay and send them to your adversaries? Because I know I am. It says the harassment campaign was split into 3 parts. Part one was distributing anonymous deliveries to their home. And they posted their home address online and invited people to yard sales there and parties at their house, advertised that there was a party on there, which, you know what, like, I don't want to come off as callous here and unfeeling. I absolutely have sympathy for this poor couple and what they've gone through, right? But there is an angle to this, and just hear me out, right? There is an angle to this which is not so bad, which is that if you get a dead pig posted to you, and then the bloodied pig mask delivered also anonymously, and it's freaking you out and your nerves are gone, you're scared, you're shaking, right? If that happens to you, maybe having some kids turn up on your porch ready for a party, clutching the beers and offering you a hit on the bucket bong might actually be the thing that you need in that moment. I'm just saying. There's some like 15-year-old kid there with a bag of booze, bucket bong in his hand. He's like, "Are you okay, sir? You look like you see a ghost." And you're like, "I'm fine. It's been a weird day. Do you mind if I take a hit on that? Thanks." Part 2 of the campaign was DMing them anonymously. And then the last part, they started surveilling the victims. I remember, like, that's all they've done, right, is write a newsletter about e-commerce stuff. It says in January, related to this, eBay agreed to pay $3 million in compensation. And it's insane, really, isn't it? It's. I mean, obviously it's all insane, but it's like the thing that weirds me out about it is like, does anyone actually love their employer that much? You know, like really to go to those lengths. Like, this is what I find more bizarre than anything. More bizarre than the dead pig. These guys are quite high up. This guy was, what was he? He was global head of security or something, wasn't it? I've got it here somewhere. Here it is. Senior manager of special operations. That was his job. It's pretty high up. Senior manager of special. I mean, it was a pretty special operation. It was definitely a unique operation that this manager managed. But here you have these guys, right? High up doing this. Educated people. They're not idiots. And they take such umbrage, I assume, you know, with what is being said about their employer, about eBay. They take such umbrage, such offence, that they basically wage war on these journalists for saying it, right? Like, does anyone actually love their employer enough to get harassment and witness tampering charges for the company? For your employer, for their benefit. Does anyone love their employer that much, really? In 2024? I am sure that we all love our jobs. I'm sure that we do. There are probably people in the live chat right now who love their team, who love their manager. Like, I remember when I was working at Sainsbury's, right? There was a guy at Sainsbury's. He'd worked there for like 30 years. And he described himself thusly. He said, if you cut me open, I would bleed orange. Like, that's what he said. That's how he described himself. How committed to Sainsbury's was he? I'm not joking around here. You know, I've been working here for decades. Been working here for 30 years, so I have. I've done it all. I've done the deli. I've done the produce section. I became a duty manager in 1984. And let me tell you, like, I love Sainsbury's. Always have loved it. It's done a lot for me, and I do a lot for it. I drive my wife crazy, don't I? Don't I, darling? I do. Yeah, no, I love Sainsbury's. It's all I talk about all day. It's just Sainsbury's this, produce that, the checkout. I'm just nodding off until he says this line. And he's like, I mean, really, like, if you cut me open, I would bleed orange. And I was like, wow, you know? To be that dedicated to your employer. Even that guy, though, I reckon if you asked him, would you career a dead fetal pig to a journalist, though, for the good of the company? For the sake of the saving of the reputation of the company. Phil, would you do it? Would you career a dead pig to frighten some journalists for Sainsbury's whom you would bleed orange for? I reckon even he would be like, oh, I mean, that is that's a big ask. You'd be like, well, yeah, I mean, you said, though, you love Sainsbury's, you bleed orange. I mean, a lot of people would say that stuff, Phil. A lot of people talk the talk. They come in here wearing their duty manager name badge because they passed the 3-stage interview. You know, they come into work. They make it out each day, clocking out their hours. They stack the shelves. They work in the deli. They do the produce. They cover the checkouts. A lot of people do that, Phil. A lot of people say they bleed orange. Right. But would you secure the corpse of a swine piglet and stuff it in an every box and post it to one of our corporate adversaries and risk 5 years in prison and a life-ruining financial penalty for Sainsbury's, Phil? Would you do it for Sainsbury's? Honestly, like, I reckon Phil would be like, no! No, I'm not going to do that. For what? Why would I do that? For the reputation of the company? Because they've been saying some things about you in their shitty newsletter that nobody reads, probably, for the good of the reputation of the company. When the flip side of this is that this is all going to come out and you're going to be in a PR nightmare. You have to write a check for $3 million just to make it go away. Do I want to get involved in some mafia shit? Probably not.